Clarity and a very nice nice picture up here. I haven't seen it, so my guess is as good as yours. But let's, hi Zoomies, open up in prayer. and then we'll kind of intro that, and we'll watch that, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So, good morning, God. We just thank you for the opportunity to be here this morning and have a conversation about legacy. We give thanks to you in this this week, especially for all of our blessings, especially the people in our lives, and more importantly, the grace and forgiveness that you have given us through your Son. Bless this conversation this morning. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Okay. Obviously, we've chatted about a whole bunch of different things that we're supposed to guard our hearts against. And today, we are talking about guarding the godly foundation in your home. So, what is your family legacy? Again, that's been a word that we've used a little bit over the last few weeks, but think about the legacy that has been passed on to you and the legacy you are working on now to pass on to your children while we watch the estate sale. And so, without much planning here, there are some questions in here. I think the movie's about 40 minutes long, so we're going to have a little bit of time at the end. So if you guys want to quickly peruse through bullet point number 2, and maybe number 3, family traditions. I think those are going to be some of the things that we chat about once this is done. Cool. All right. Whenever you guys are ready.
I love you for sentimental reasons. I hope you do believe me. I've given you my heart. I love you, and you alone were meant for me. Please give your loving heart to me, and say we'll never part. I think of you every morning, dream of you every night. Darling, I'm never lonely whenever you are inside. I love you, and you alone were meant for me. Please give your loving heart to me, and say we'll never part.
You know, sometimes you find something worthwhile at these estate sales. You sure have to dig through a lot of junk.
I've got to buy something. Just got to buy something. I can't go to an estate sale and not buy anything.
I just buy too much. You know, this time I'm limiting myself to only what I can carry to the car without dropping it. Or stuff into my pockets and mouth.
Oh, Carol. Look at this, will you? Ugly as dirt.
Oh,
Somebody actually wore this.
my mother had a coat just like that.
Really? You know what? I think mine did too. She always wore a little butterfly pin on the lapel. Carol, look. Just look at this hat. Isn't this something? All right, how do I look?
Truthfully,
Yes.
you look like Eleanor Roosevelt.
You have nothing to fear but the size of my teeth themselves. Where's the champagne bottle? Where's a ship? I want to christen something.
Stop it, Bobby, for heaven's sakes. The poor woman is dead.
Didn't this woman own any decent clothes?
Look at this. Yeah, this is kind of cute.
Yeah. Hey, that color looks good on you.
Do you think?
Uh-huh.
I think I'll go try it on in the bathroom.
Okay, I'll watch the door.
All right, now don't peek. It's the best part of the house. All right, now hold on. Hold on. Now, don't peek.
Can't be better than
Almost now. All right. May I present the master bedroom?
Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, and the fireplace, too.
Look over here. It's got a great view, too. You can see part of the park from up here.
Oh, Charlie. I have a wonderful life.
I told you I'd give you everything, didn't I? A good house. I've got the right job with the best firm in town.
You are a great, talented architect.
I'm gonna leave my mark on this town. You watch and see. I'm gonna leave buildings behind that'll take their breath away. And I'm a great dancer. Dancer and architect. Two talents in one. Shine on the harvest moon. Up in the sky. I ain't had no love since January. You
You are the silliest thing alive.
so, and you married a madman, a raving lunatic.
Charlie, I am in love with you.
You all finding everything all right?
We're fine, thanks.
Carol, remember how our moms used to take off their gloves?
Well, there's lots of good stuff here. These folks must have been rich. They bought only good stuff.
Yes, it's all very nice.
What about that dress? Looks cute on you.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I feel kind of funny trying on someone else's clothes. I mean, right here in their own bedroom.
Don't worry about that. Where they are, they could care less. I don't know exactly what you ladies are looking for, but I got a feeling you're going to find it, whatever it is. And maybe y'all are just interested in clothes, but we have a lot of very nice antiques as well. That one over there is real old.
I think I'll just keep looking.
Do you have any more old coats? I'm looking for really old coats, not very used. The kind that are back in style.
Coats? Oh, we got lots of coats. Right over this way.
Hello? Oh, hello, Alice. How are you? Listen, dear, look, did I call you back? I've got a house full of children here. It's Tommy's 5th birthday. Yes, 8 of them, and I've got the cake half done and icing on my fingers, and I think they've started to top the dining room table for kindling. All right, yes, I will. Bye-bye. Okay, kids, I think it is time to what? Open the presents! Yes. Tommy, here. Oh, I love that. Now, don't do that. That's the one with the isn't it? Okay, cake. Everybody want cake? All right, everybody, settle down, and clear your places. Surprise! Okay, everybody, sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tommy. Happy birthday to you.
Now make a wish. Make a wish and blow out your candles. Make a real good wish. Okay?
What was the wish?
Don't tell it won't come true. All right, everybody look at me. Picture time. Okay. Donnie, put that down. No. Don't do that. Just get in the picture with Tommy. Okay. Smile. Ready? Bigger, much bigger. Smile for mommy. Smile.
I can't believe someone would sell their old family photographs. Don't their kids want them?
All these pictures. Nobody's going to buy all these pictures. It's sad, don't you think?
I never want to have my picture taken. Every time I see an old picture, all I can think about is how young and happy and unwrinkled I used to be.
Don't you want to save the memories?
No, I'd rather keep them in my mind. That way I can remember what I want. Excuse me, how much is this figurine?
Andy's a picture nut. He takes these pictures by the thousands, then he puts them into this cardboard box, puts them underneath the bed, and he says when we're old, we're going to sort through them all and cry our eyes out.
Why don't you just put a gun in the box so you can blow your brains out after you're through looking through the picture?
Well, this one didn't get marked. It doesn't look too expensive. It's porcelain, though. $6.
No, thanks. I don't have a place for it anyway.
Do you do many of these estate sales?
Yes, ma'am, I do. Been kept pretty busy lately, too. A lot of people dying recently. The lady that lived here died last month. She lived here almost 60 years, they tell me. Her husband died several years ago.
She lived alone.
That's the way it always happens. The men drop dead first.
Nagged to death, usually. Well, anyhow, the kids usually come and pick out what they want after the funeral. These folks didn't take much, except the expensive jewelry.
And left all these pictures.
Well, some folks buy them. I don't know why.
Dorothy, it's almost midnight. The party's... Oh, Dorothy, what's wrong?
Oh, nothing. Just go on down. I'll be there in a minute.
Oh, come on now. What did I do wrong this time? It couldn't be that joke I told Peter.
It's just another silly year. It's gone.
What do you mean? It's a great time. The war is over. I'm back in my own firm. I've got lots of work. Did you see that new Buick parked in the driveway?
I don't care about cars.
I paid a lot of money for that car.
Oh, I don't care what you paid. I'm sorry. Just forget it. Go on down. I'll be right there.
Dorothy, can you just explain to me why you're acting this way? I've got some important clients downstairs, and what am I going to say to them, huh? That the hostess just isn't interested in them anymore? She'd rather stay up in her room and worry about something?
Charlie, stop. Just stop for 1 minute. Don't you realize that we've been running through our lives together with our eyes closed?
You talk like our life is horrible.
No, Charles. I know we have a wonderful life.
Then what's wrong?
Well, I did something today while I was getting dressed. I counted my days. I figured out all the days that I had lived and all the days I thought I had left to live.
Oh, Dorothy.
Well, it's important to me, Charlie. Don't you see? I saw all the days I'd rushed through, wishing they were over.
That's normal.
I want to remember, Charlie. I want to have a life to remember. I don't want to remember cars and country clubs. I want to remember loving every day I was given. I want to remember things we all did together. Times we cared about each other. Please don't let me live my life and then be gone. I want my life full of memories.
Got this upstairs, did you?
Sure did.
Well, it's certainly a beauty. Yeah, did you hear it chime? It chimes every quarter hour. Now, listen. Huh? Oh, that's a beauty. You want this in a box?
Please.
Hmm?
You know, this is second-rate stuff mostly. I mean, it's old, but it's really used. You know, the best stuff is the old stuff that wasn't used very much.
You know, back then, families ate at home a lot. Cooked every day. The whole family actually ate together.
Right, like the TV shows.
I remember during the holidays, Mother used to do her once-a-year baking. She'd always burn her hand or something. And for the first 20 years that I was at home, she burned her hands constantly. At Christmas time, she had Band-Aids all over her hands and arms. They were the scars of love, she'd say. Oh, she was funny then.
I remember sitting on the kitchen table watching my father stir the fudge. He'd always say, "Now when your arm feels like it's gonna fall off, that means the fudge is ready." I'd sit on the table, you know, Indian style, and look into the bowl. Oh, I was probably about 4 or 5. And you know how once you start stirring the fudge, you can't stop until it's done. Well, one thing I remember is that my dad always had this big glob of fudge on his stomach, and he'd stand there stirring and grumbling, but my mother wouldn't let him wipe it off till he was finished stirring. That was the best fudge. I'm surprised I didn't weigh 200 pounds when I went off to college.
Life was simpler then, I think. At least it seemed simpler.
I'd give $1 million for simplicity.
So how are you and Mac doing?
Oh, he picks up the kids on the weekends. Misses once in a while, usually when there's another girl. How are you and Andy doing?
Oh, fine. You know, I wonder what they made here in this kitchen.
I bet she baked a lot.
And canned things. I can just see rows and rows of mason jars lined on this counter.
Hey, look at these iron skillets. No, now these never go out of style. Maybe I need another iron skillet. Do I need another iron skillet? I've got some already, but you never know when you might need some more.
I really ought to buy one of these pot holders.
Well, forget the skillets. I think I'll go look at those coats again.
Okay, I'm gonna look around some more down here.
Oh, Jonathan, look what you did. Come here and help me pick this up right now.
have thousands of slides of buildings. Occasionally, there's one of the children.
Well, that's one of the hazards of being married to an architect, dear. Right, Harry?
You bet. Why waste good film on women and children? You can look at them anytime.
Harry, no wonder you're still a bachelor.
Saves on film? Exactly. Saves on film. You've got to think of those things.
Here it is. This is Venice. Piazza de San Marco. That's St. Mark's Square for those of you who don't speak Italian.
Oh, it's a wonderful place. They have music at night and dancing.
See that dome church? That's St. Mark's Cathedral, 11th century. It's classic Byzantine.
Mama, isn't that where Daddy got sick in the flower bed?
Annette?
No, sweetheart, that was Pisa. The place with the leaning tower.
Dorothy, I did not get sick at Pisa. Just had a little disturbance from a salad I ate.
Right in the bushes, huh, Charlie?
Okay, let's get back to Venice.
Oh, there they are. Oh, I remember that day. Annette wanted to wear that dress every day on the trip. I practically had to tie her down to get it off and wash. Oh, there's our gondola man. Tommy, do you remember him? He was the funniest man. Didn't speak a word of English. He gave the entire tour in animated Italian. All four of us kept nodding our heads the whole time, pretending to understand. People say Venice is dirty, but I think it's the most beautiful, romantic city in the world.
Nice to meet you.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to scare you. Just came up here to look at some old coats. You know, the ones that are back in style.
Yeah. Well, you didn't really scare me. I was just trying on this hat. That's all I was doing. Boy, he had a monstrous big head. Means he was a smart man. Very intelligent.
Man who lived here?
Oh, heck yeah. He's a famous architect. Built a lot of great buildings. Mr. Charles, I can't remember his name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, he built a lot of great buildings. I mean, big ones. So you gonna buy that?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's kind of used. You have to look at these things very carefully.
Well, go ahead and buy it. It can't be more than $5 or $6. You know, sometimes you just have to assert yourself.
Excuse me?
Well, buying something you don't need or want or can afford or really don't even like that much is the best way to say, I am. I exist. My needs must be met first. What's the Ed Leakey assertion technique? I'm a graduate of one of his recent nationally recognized seminars. That's why I know what to do to make my life more productive and free from internal anxieties.
Internal anxieties? Look, I'm really just shopping.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, it's just an opinion, that's all. I mean, you can take it or leave it. This is just the kind of hat I thought he'd wear.
Do you know these people?
Well, my old man was their gardener for about 26 years. 26 years, and he never once was invited into this place. Crazy, huh? Now here I am, standing in his bedroom trying on his hats. Kinda ironic, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I've been looking forward to this day, when I could just walk right in here. Too bad his hats are too big. But you know what? I think I'm gonna buy them anyway.
No, this isn't my day for coats. I'm just not in a coat mood.
Yeah, I guess you have to be in a coat mood. I'm in a hat mood.
Bye.
Oh, by the way, I have my own sprinkling service. If you ever need one installed, it's Schottenheimer Sprinkling Service. It's 221-4.
Annette? It's ready, sweetheart. Come and try it on.
Mama, how do I wear this thing? How do I keep it on?
Oh, wait here. I get my bobby pins. You look beautiful, dear.
Is it too long?
No, I don't think so. I can't believe my little baby's all grown up.
Mother, Joey will be here any minute. Get my hat to
Oh,
stay on.
my dear, be patient.
Where are my cufflinks?
The last time I saw them, they were on your nightstand.
No, not those. I want my plain gold ones.
Hi, Daddy.
My goodness, my daughter's a graduate. Quick, what's the capital of Argentina?
Buenos Aires. Everybody knows that.
There. No, I think that's going to stay on. You're probably just going to take it off once you get in the car. Now, what are your plans for after graduation ceremonies? You know your grandma and your grandpa are going to want to visit with you.
Mama, remember I'm supposed to go to that party with Joey. I can't stay here and talk to them. It's graduation.
Now listen, young lady, this Joey character can just bring you by for a visit like a civilized person. There's nothing wrong with having decent manners. You're not going to go hot rodding up and down the streets all night.
Daddy, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm 18 years old.
As long as you're living under this roof, you'll do exactly what...
Charlie, wouldn't it be all right if the children just came by for a short visit before their party? After all, Grandma and Grandpa don't have that long an attention span.
Well, I imagine just this once and be all right.
Right. Now you come straight here after the ceremony. You ask Joey in, have a piece of cake, excuse yourself, and leave, okay?
Okay, Mama.
Look for us at graduation.
Okay, Daddy.
We'll be on the bleachers on the right.
Joey, bye.
Well, I still need my cufflinks. I'll look for them on the side table again. Hello. Oh, Ted. Did you get my renderings? Thank you. Oh, really? At this late date? Another 2 rooms. Yes, I can see that. No problem. All right, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Fine, goodbye. Joe, Wayland called and Bedford wants to add 2 rooms to that new wing. I know. By in the morning. All right, meet me at their office in 20 minutes. All right, bye-bye.
You can't work tonight. It's Annette's graduation.
I'm sorry, but Bedford wants to add 2 rooms to the Bowie Street wing.
Well, surely Joe can take care of that.
I'm running this project, not Joe. You know him, he'd ruin it if I wasn't there. Look, I won't be long. I'll sketch it out for him and let him finish it, and I'll come back here and meet you here later.
I can't work the new camera.
Well, we can buy pictures. There'll be a photographer there. Look, she'll never know I wasn't there. I was going to be in the bleachers anyway. Well, how does she think her tuition to the university is going to be paid? I can't pick it off the trees, you know.
What are these?
Oh, the fella that used to live here was an architect.
My goodness. Look at all of these.
Uh-huh.
Look at that detail. Huh. Those colors. It's beautiful. Ah. You know, I've seen this building downtown. On Bowie Street, I think.
Yeah, he was a pretty well-known fellow from what I've heard. Had a lot of quality hats. And hats, not much market for hats anymore. They don't sell worth anything. I had a sale down in Longview. I had a whole load of hats. Top quality, too. Didn't sell a single one.
I bet these pictures are valuable.
No, everybody will look at them. Nobody will buy them. You won't buy them either, will you? Huh?
Oh, sorry.
Ah, that's all right. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Oh, I'll keep a couple of the prettiest ones for myself. I tend to keep something from every sale that I have. I've got a whole garage full of mementos from 300 or 400 different lives. Little piece of history, I call it. Even though I never met a single one of them. See, I try to figure what is the most precious thing in each house to that particular individual. In this case, I imagine it'd be one of these drawings.
No, I think I'll go take another look at that dress.
Okay. Take your time.
it's you.
I hope I didn't disturb you.
Oh, no. I have plenty of time for this old box. Well, not plenty of time, really. I'm dying, you know.
Yes, I know. I was just downstairs looking through all your things. Sorry.
Tell me, young lady, what did you find going through all this?
Well, I found your sewing machine.
That old sewing machine. I sewed a few things on it. My daughter never learned to sew. She wasn't much doing things around the house. "54 of my years are in this house." Come here, young lady. Sit with me a while. This is my little boy, Tommy. He was 5 years old on this day.
Yes, I know. I saw the picture downstairs. He's beautiful.
He'll never be 5 years old again. When his father died, I wanted to give him all of his father's work, drawings and renderings that Charlie loved so much. Tommy didn't want them, you see.
I'm sorry.
I didn't raise very good children, did I?
Oh, no. Don't say that. I'm sure they're wonderful children. People go through phases, you know.
I saw it all very clearly the other night. I couldn't sleep, so I got out of bed and went downstairs. I walked out onto the back porch in my nightgown. There was a new moon. I looked up and I saw the stars. Millions of stars, a flood of stars across the domed sky. Stars Abraham counted. Stars Christ slept beneath. And stars my ancestors wished upon. I saw why I was and how I had failed. And I cried and cried.
I think maybe you're just tired. I'm sure you were a wonderful mother.
When I looked at those stars, I thought of all the mothers who had rocked their babies underneath those same stars. My mother, and her mother, and her mother. You see, they kept the flame alive. We never said no to our children, so they never learned to say no to themselves. And now they don't care in a world that celebrates not caring. Tell me, young lady, do you have any children?
Yes, I have a little girl.
A little girl. A family is the caretaker of the soul of man. That's what I saw. And then what I believe. Each generation gives love to the next. And the gift of belief, right and wrong, good and evil. Please, don't forget that.
I'm sure you loved your children.
Oh, yes, dear, I love them. But I rushed through our life. Charlie, too. The children were grown before he even knew what happened. I just want to live one day over again. An ordinary day. A day with my children little again. With problems, and washing, and cooking, and cleaning. I would love to do all the things I used to complain about, you see. Just one day. I have so much to tell them.
There you are. What are you doing up here? Carol?
Oh, daydreaming.
I bought the figurine. $4. Aren't you gonna get anything?
Not today. Hello, Mom? Carol? How are you? Well, I'm sorry. I haven't called. I've been awfully busy lately. So, what are you doing today? What? Oh, did she? Yeah, well, I guess she's just like that. So, how's the yard doing? Mom, I just called you to tell you that I love you an awful lot. And I know how much that you and Dad did for us kids, and it means a whole lot to us. I know. I miss him too. What are you doing this weekend? Well, Andy and I thought maybe we would come by and spend the weekend with you. And bring Katie. You haven't seen her in a while, Mom. And she's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think like this kind of intertwines a lot of the different things we've talked about. You know, the temptations that we have, the cell phones, the this, the that, to speed things up and lose focus on, obviously what our ultimate goal is, which is to expand the kingdom and live in heaven someday. So, yeah, I mean, the questions that we have here, are we rushing through our days? Yes, no, I don't know. Some days, sure. I think, I think you could probably collect it in weeks for us. Are we rushing through our weeks? Yeah, definitely some weeks. It's crazy. This week's been nice and slow, which is sometimes bad in our house with the 2.6 and 6-year-old. Slow days are sometimes worse than the fast days. And maybe that's a terrible thing after watching that, because that means we're living our lives too quickly. I guess after reading through all of this, they say, have you made it a point to instill the precepts of Scripture in your children and to live to those precepts? Now, precepts is not a word that I use in my regular vocabulary, so Joel and I just looked it up while we were watching that video. And that is rules and guidelines. Hopefully the answer for all of us to that last question, have you made a point to instill the rules and guidelines of Scripture in your children and to live those? Hopefully the answer is yes. Proverbs 22:6, that's the one that says, raise a child up in the way that, he should go, and that way, even when they're old, they're gonna, be able to fall back on that. The one question that I jotted down that I'm hoping we can chat about, so to everybody, especially those with adult children, what would you say are the most important things that you did or do to raise your kids and to have a legacy? I know that's kind of deep. I'll read that one more time. But I'm hoping we can actually talk about some of those things that we would say are like the ultimate, the number one things. And, maybe it's a quick answer, one word or two words, but especially those with adult children, but to all of us, what are the most important things that you have done or that you are doing to raise your kids and have legacy?
Teaching them to pray.
Teaching them to pray? Yeah, for sure. With an example like...
Before dinner, always.
Sure. Before dinner, before bed, yeah. For sure.
Showing gratitude is very, in the film, I think that was a very reoccurring theme that kept popping up, especially around people not showing gratitude, whether it was the kids or whether it was the people with the stuff they were throwing around, or at the end, the woman, she wished she had more gratitude for the days when she was living them. She wanted to go back and do an ordinary day. That's something which we definitely try to instill. The whole thing about saying no, I think is something that certainly we struggle with. I'm sure others do as well. You want to give your kids the world, but spoiling them is kind of the opposite of not going to make them grateful at all. So it's a very tricky line to walk.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I once heard a smart lady say that her and her husband's goal was to raise kids so that when they are old enough to hang out with, that she would want to hang out with them. I think, that, is kind of what we're going with there. They ask, do you make it a point of eating together with your family? That kind of insinuates that that's important. I don't know, we're still trying. I know that once, especially like middle school, high school sports teams practices, this, that, here at least, that it starts to get real crazy. But it's not the most peaceful, calm hour of our day, I would say, when we are attempting to get our kids to eat at dinner. But what are some other things? Like, if you had to say the most important thing that you do to raise your kids and to have legacy, or the most important thing, I should ask, maybe we'll change that to what your parents did. The most impactful things that they did for you to make you who you are today and to, raise you up.
For me, I think it's overall it's just a good reminder that we often get just caught up going through the motions and don't take time to slow down and be intentional. And as far as a specific example, I mean, we used to listen to Adventures in Odyssey on road trips growing up, if anybody's ever heard those. Other Focus on the Family podcasts. We did some Bible studies growing up occasionally. Obviously, when I was a teenager, I was reluctant to participate in those, but you know, it was still something that we were going to do, and whether we thoroughly enjoyed it or not, it was just kind of a good reminder of what's really important. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, piggybacking off of that, like we would do church, Sunday school, with, you know, the exception being if we were out of town. My brother had baseball games, and even when he had like tournaments, he would show up, and I would show up in my lifeguard uniform to church. He would wear his baseball uniform, and we'd stay as long as we possibly could, even if it was like 20 minutes. We would still go and then leave. And like he said, when we were teenagers, we might not be thrilled about it, be like, this is pointless, but it really did instill how important it was.
For sure. Yeah, I think being here is huge. I mean, you know, for both Jill and I, it's like, this is just what you do on Sundays, you know, and, you know, right now in this season of life, I probably get less out of sermons than I have in past years because of the age of our kids and chasing Maya around. But I think that, you know, there is something to be said about, yeah, taking something out of the service every week, but, you know, we're all going to daydream, and it's not going to be that consistent. It's going to ebb and flow a little bit. I think for us right now, I would say sending our kids here is huge, because it is, the things that we say at home are getting preached here also. You know, I'm a teacher, and I don't know, I think that maybe speaks volumes. That I send my, you know, all my colleagues ask, well, where do you, so your kids go to 47? Oh, they go to Emmanuel. They're like, oh, isn't that expensive? Yeah, it is. But like, that's hugely important to us that that same message is being, you know, brought, and we like trust and amazing teachers here. So if you are going to have kids, you should send them. But yeah, I think that's a huge piece for us. Steve, what's the most important thing you do is raise your kids right? Call them out. That was Laura, by the way, who said that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew that. Now bring him here. You know, there was times in the old church and even here, you know, people want to let your kids go somewhere else so they don't disrupt anybody. To me, I'd rather have Maya running around, making noise, disrupting people, than not have her in church.
That's good.
Sharon Teeman actually and I, we go back and forth on this because we, you know, like you guys, our kids are a little older now, but like we had twins, we would have two kids crying at church at times. We got days where we just didn't ever get through the service. And you always wonder, what are we doing here? And, you know, Hannah still struggles. Like, I don't think I've sat through a service in years. And she's like, just keep showing up. And it's like, really? Because, you know, sometimes it's like not worth it at all. She's like, no, just keep showing up. She's like, it's fine, just keep showing up. So that's kind of our mantra, is even when we're having terrible days and we're late and Hannah's going to sit there and cry or crawl in the corner, and it's like, we just keep showing up. So if you do nothing else, just show up. Just, I guess, I don't know, I have 8-year-olds. I don't know how this is going to look in the future, but if you have adult kids, maybe you can tell me. If you keep just showing up, and hopefully eventually it'll...
Yeah, and again, it's going to ebb and flow, like David was saying. You know, they're going to kick and scream literally when they're young, and then when they're 13, they're going to eye roll and say this is dumb for 4 or 5 years. But based upon everything we've heard, makes an impact, makes a difference. So, unless anybody has anything else that is groundbreaking, or it doesn't even have to be groundbreaking.
I've got something.
Yeah.
Not groundbreaking, just kind of what I took from the movie. So, throughout one of the themes was, the father always working and just not being present, and, just kind of chasing after the next thing and whatnot. And so I think just being present with kids, and I think if we were bringing the movie into today's, I think one of the biggest distractions is just the technology and always wanting to consume media and stuff. So we've got a 6 and 8 year old, and sometimes when we're sitting down, he's like, "Can we watch this? Can we watch this?" But sometimes we get to say, "I don't know, like tell us about your day at school or what's going on," and just try to slow it down. I think that's one thing we're continually struggle with, but trying to emphasize and just having quality time together. That's where you're actually present.
For sure.
And kind of along that, something that I think is trickier, that kind of happened more naturally as a kid, was spending time with their grandparents. I don't know why I'm so emotional. That movie just tore me up. But yeah, just like.
Sure. Yeah, I guess it's not you. Just trying to pull in the whole family, and I think kids watch what you do, and what you say is much less important than what you do.
Yeah.
So when you show like, hey, I'm valuing, my parents and the whole family, I think
grandparents too, like.
That's what will. That's what they're seeing. That's what they're learning. That's what they will carry with them. Like that's creating a legacy based on what you're doing there.
Yeah, it's just so much harder to all get together. Like, I lived with my grandparents, and I knew them really well. I don't know.
Yeah, I think what you're saying though, the do as I say, not as I do mantra is obviously not lasting. It doesn't leave an impression. The phone thing, I think a lot of that is, as husband and wife, when you're raising kids, the accountability piece. Jill does a nice job. If I have the like a little bit of an addictive, or we all do, personality in terms of our phones. I think where you're sitting on it and you don't even recognize after 2 or 3 minutes that you're there. It's like, hey, come on, let's go. So I think lovingly holding each other accountable. But yeah, setting that example of what you're doing, making it a point to value family, and obviously making it a point to value this. Being here may not always be the most rewarding, fulfilling service that we have every week, but sending your kids to Sunday school, bringing them to church, and showing them, what you value in Scripture and your relationship with God, I think is going to leave the most lasting impact. The way that you pray and the way that you read Scripture and the way that you make it a priority in your life is going to roll on to your kids. So
yeah, I think being genuine is huge because kids will see through it if you're just trying to tell them things, but you're not actually walking that yourself. So
yeah, absolutely.
I would say that. Well, our kids are getting older now, but like bring them to church, but then as they kind of go out into the world, I think what especially her parents have taught us is that just praying purposely for them now, because we can't bring them everywhere anymore, right? So every day just praying purposely for better futures and what God has in store for them. So.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, 32 after. They're going to get mad if we don't go get our...
One last thing to mention, a text from my dad. The next week is the final session of the series, so Missy Berg will be doing the second part of children, social media, and their mental health.
Yep. And then the backup today is the next. So are we off, Julie, from if the next one is January 8th?
Yeah, we're off for that Christmas time.
Okay.
So the last one here is the 4th. The cantata is the 11th, and Christmas programs and Christmas. So then we'll start up again in January.
So next week will be the last one, and then there's about a month off of Mid-Pointe. All right, let's close in prayer. Father God, we come before you this morning, thanking you for the legacy that you left us, for being the ultimate father, sacrificing his son for us. Help us to be genuine and intentional about modeling our relationship with you, and leaving that legacy with our kids, no matter how old they are. We thank you for our relationship with you. We ask you to bless our Sunday, and thank you for being here with us. It's in